Hello, teenagers. I would like to say hi from the First Vibe family. Today, we're excited to talk to you about this week's lesson, which is Choose Life. And in our Bible study this week, we covered Moses and how he was appointed by God to lead the children out of Israel. So he was given a task by God to move the Israelites out of slavery into the promised land. The problem was there were so many distractions with these children of Israel and their obedience. And so, if we bring that to everyday life today, you may find that you are so exposed to distractions and choices. And, if we don't decide early, at an early age, to obey God and to chase after His promises, then we too may be lost. These children of Israel, even though they had an appointed leader by God to take them where they needed to go, they still operated in a spirit of disobedience, grumbling, and they let the distractions of their journey basically land them in confusion and disorder, and they were lost for 40 long years. And it didn't have to be that way because God already had what He had promised them laid up, and He was just waiting for them to take hold of it. So I encourage you, teenagers, to learn and discover God at an early age so that you too are not lost for the next 40 years of your life. And then I want to leave you today with this particular scripture, and it comes from the book of Matthew. And as we finish this particular condensed summary of what we studied this week, we are going to post the scriptures on the screen so that you can know what scriptures you should study this week. But this one comes from Matthew, the 7th chapter, the 13th through the 14th verse. And it says, "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. For the gate is small, and the way is narrow that leads to life, and there are few who find it." Don't be amongst the big crowd who is chasing after things that are not of God. Be on the narrow road where few find it, but there are great promises at the end of that road. For more on this particular study this week called Choose Life, we encourage you to visit our website. We encourage you to email us. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask them. We ask this week that you do what this Bible study is intended for you to do. We ask that you study the scriptures and hide them in your heart that you may not sin against God. And so we'll see you next week on The Verse Vibe.